All right, so it's first thing in the morning here in Washington D.C. Um, I wanted to get this listening out of the way first thing in the morning today, just because I don't know what my schedule is going to look like exactly, and I want to be able to improvise. Um, so the score today was supposed to be this piece by Jacques Zafra, who's a Mexican composer who has studied in Germany, but this piece is from his time in Mexico. It's from 2011, and I've been looking for a recording for this thing for like 15 minutes now, and I don't think it's um, I don't think it's out there. I think the composer either never had it performed or has like since rescinded it. But the interesting thing is, if we go to his website, he has a YouTube channel called Mexican Scores, and on the front page is the next string quartet on the list. So I just thought it was a funny happenstance. It kind of shows how small new music communities are. Um, so, if you're familiar with Mexican contemporary music, you probably know all of the same people. And if you're part of that community, you probably, work in the same circles as all of these people. So, a couple days ago, we already did listen to the first movement of Maldonado's second string quartet, but here we have his first string quartet, and it's only 6 minutes, so it might be just one movement as well. But I have a nice scrolling score here, and you have access to it as well, so assuming this is still up. So I'm going to just pull up this score because I do have it. This is another work that was supported by Sistema Nacional de Creadores de Arte, so the National Arts Council of Mexico, sort of like the equivalent for me would be the Canada Council for the Arts. And it's dedicated to Irvin Arditi of the Arditi Quartet. So I'm assuming it was composed for them. This is the first system of music, and you can see it's similar to the second string quartet we looked at. Okay, so the duration is 18 minutes. So this is definitely going to be just the first movement as well, but that's okay with me. I have to get started with my day anyways, and it'll be easier to compare the two listening experiences, right? Maybe after this one I can say which one I thought was better. That might be something that people want to know. So, yeah, I'll stop droning on, and let's listen to this little piece of music by Javier Torres Maldonado from 2009. Okay, so just a small correction. The video I showed you that was 6 minutes long is not the one you want to watch. I don't know what is up with it, but it's like 1 minute of music and then 20 seconds of the composer telling you to like, comment, and subscribe, not verbally, but with like text, and then it starts over and ends 3 minutes into the movement, and it's not done yet, and I don't know what that was, but on the same YouTube channel you can find a recording of the full thing. And this is a performance by the Arditi Quartet, as I suspected. So, yeah, I'm going to listen to the whole thing, and you should too. Just listen to this one. Okay, so I hope you listened along. And I hope this video is still up. So this is like a 4-movement, actually 5-movement, like full-length string quartet kind of thing. So let me think. I'm going to start by just talking about the overall structure and what I thought, and then there's no point like getting into detail with every movement, but I might be, just because I said I would, like compare the first movement of this piece to the first movement of the second string quartet. So overall, I thought the sort of form of the piece was very interesting, and I think a lot of multi-movement works have the tendency to try to start strong and then end strong, and if it's 5 movements, the third movement will also be fast or something. But this was more like most of the piece's energy was concentrated in the first movement. It was really like breakneck, and there was lots of different ideas happening one after another. And then the second movement took a step back, and then the third movement took an even bigger step back, and then the fourth was like, the fourth was a change in texture because it was all pizzicato, extended technique stuff, and it was super quiet. But that, to me, that's even more sparse, and so it was very. I found the form and plan of the piece really interesting because it kind of like kept stretching my limits. It kept. You think things have gotten a certain way, and they get even more like that, and I don't know. Not a lot of art does that, and I think that a lot of things in life do that, actually. That the way we perceive time does fluctuate like that. It's not always like easily broken up into these like contrasting ideas, and I think the use of microtones in this was really more spectral than I was expecting, based on the second string quartet that we listened to, and I can really hear the Grisé influence in the opening of the third movement, for example, and stuff in the fifth movement especially. But he's not completely leaning into the spectral philosophy, so it's really, that's one of the more interesting things about it too, because he's sort of trying to merge serial with post-serial techniques, and I think he does it pretty successfully. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the overall piece. This is a phenomenal performance as well. Like, seems like extremely difficult music to play, and I think it's like amazing that a performance like this even exists. But as for the first movement, I think I like the first movement of the second string quartet better. And in terms of this piece, like, this first movement was actually my least favorite. I think it was trying really hard to be serious, if that makes any sense. Like, it was trying to be a first movement, whereas Not a lot of spectral pieces do that. So the first movement is really asserting this like tie to tradition, and it's got to be like flashy and get your attention and have substance and all kinds of things going on. And the first movement of his second string quartet, I think, didn't seem to be trying so hard. It was like a little bit more organic, and some of the ideas that I mentioned 2 days ago in the first movement of the second string quartet, I see in this first movement as well. So there definitely is sort of a progression. Like some of the ideas that maybe were used in this piece to to extend a climax or highlight a certain passage, right? Were not decorative elements in the second string quartet. Like the circular bowing thing, here it's decorative. In the second string quartet first movement, it's like structural. It's like a part of the piece. So, I mean, I think it's a matter of opinion which way is better, but it's interesting to see that he, when he has an idea, he really sticks with it and doesn't let it go. That's something I really struggle with, is like from one piece to the next I do something completely different, but sometimes it's more fruitful to like look at your ideas and reimagine them and take them seriously. So that might be a takeaway I have from this. So yeah, I hope you got something out of my opinions here. I am a little bit tired from the conference. I went to like 3 or 4 concerts yesterday, but I'm not hearing, at this conference at least, I'm not hearing a lot of music that I consider really good. You know, so taking the time to like listen to things that I'm sure are going to be good, in my opinion, is important. Like, I'm not going to hear anything like this at this conference. It's just like beyond the scope and budget of it, really. Like, this performance is incredibly expensive, and I'm sure this commission was like gigantic because it's the Arditi Quartet, and you know, it's a real pleasure to see big things like that. So, not that the composer isn't amazing as well, but it's like I don't really believe in genius as the main contributing factor to what artists do. I think like resources are more important, and you know, it's a pleasure to listen to this stuff. So okay.